happy Friday, and Friday's another day for Standard Dominaria United Tech, in which we're going to have another reference from MTG Goldfish. This time it was made by Iron Beagle, in which he called the deck as Bant Midrange. Now for this setup, we're going to find, or we're going to know what those cards from the previous Streets of New Capenna set, which will finally get standard gameplay in this build. So without further setup, we're going to check the list. We have 21 creatures, 4 enchantments, as you notice, Bant Ascendancy is here, 7 instants, a playset of a Johnny Sleeper Agent, and some lands for the mana fix. So we started with the lineup. We're going to go with the probably the mana cost. So we have a playset of a Hopeful Initiate, in which the training ability and also the way to get into the board early with one drop is very essential in this deck. But along with it, we only have a few 2 drops in this build, which are just more of the utility, such as this one, which is Llanowar Speaker. It's just going to add mana to ramp up to your 4 drops or 5 drops. And then we'll also have Kyrion Base Color with 4 copies, so whenever you cast a creature spell, it becomes bigger, and when it dies, you can distribute those counters that was added to any number of the creatures you control. So still a good 2 drop, which you're very able to curb early, starting with the Initiate with this either of the 2 drops, and then we go with the defensive Blokatar, which can exile creatures. I think this will now be the white staple creature removal on a stick, with also flip card bonus of having a first strike and ward, pay 3 life when the situation goes dark or it is nightbound. Now for this build, we also have the new inclusions of Torrents, which is also another card from Midnight Hunt, from Crimson Bow. So it has also a training ability, but whenever you cast a creature spell, it gets a bonus of having a 1/1 green and white human soldier token with training. You can also develop your board, as you may be able to cast all of your creature spells in your succeeding turns. Now for that benefit, we go again with the Bant Ascendancy's ability. So it is a Bant color enchantment, in which whenever your end step triggers, you put a counter on each creatures you control. Those are +1/+1 counters, and loyalty counters on each planeswalker you control. So we only have Ajani as our main target for the loyalty bonus, but the important thing here is that you get your creature board bigger because of these free counters that are triggered at the end step. Now with the Ajani's ability, we check its build. So it's a 4 drop basically, but when you complete for paying 2 life, it gets enters the battlefield with 2 fewer loyalty counters, which not really matter if you're able to curve out from the 2 drop of adding mana, so you won't really need to pay the complete cost. So rebuild, the +1/+1 ability is the reveal the top card Golgari. If it's a creature or planeswalker card, put it in your hand, or you may put it on the bottom. Now you have your -3 ability, in which you can distribute 3 +1/+1 counters among up to 3 target creatures, and they get the bonus of vigilance until end of turn. But the good thing here is when you were able to reach the emblem of its -6 loyalty, wherein whenever you cast a creature or planeswalker spell, target opponent gets 2 poison counters. So with the variants of creatures in the deck, you can basically go with this alternate win condition of having to poison your opponent up to the 10 poison counters. So this can be a good variance in the build, but not only having your card draw to your creatures, but also making your board bigger with its +1/+1 counters, and also with the help of the training and several creatures that triggers this training ability. Now we forgot to mention, we also have Catilda, wherein it is also a bonus ramp, wherein human creatures you control have this 1 mana of any of this creature's color, so you can basically add to tap 1 green or 1 white to each of your human creatures. So we check the lineup, mostly are human, and aside only for Falcos Para as your main top 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 mana cost creature to cast, with the bonus of having to put shield counters on it. So, and then there's the battlefield with the shield counter for 3/3 flying and trample. Then you have the bonus of looking the top card of your library at any time, and you may cast spells on the top card by removing a counter from the creatures you control, in addition to pay for their other costs. So, with lots of +++ counters and any other training ability triggers that puts counters on your creatures, you can basically have to pay, have the top card of your library played in addition to that, removing those counters, which are basically just a lot of bonus from your main strategy of having counters on each of your creatures. So you basically get an extra hand from the top card by you can playing it from the top by just removing all of these counters. So either you can play a land, or you can play a spot removal, or any other needed creatures in those certain scenarios. So we now go with the instance. Exploration is just a usual kicker wherein you just cry to and draw a card. If that spell was kicked, you may put a land card from your hand to the battlefield. This is sort of a ramp, but I would prefer to have more spells that protect your creatures rather than this. So aside from fixing the mana, it's just not really necessary to ramp up for additional card draw, since you have a lot of ways to trigger your cards, such as going with a Johnny or Falcos Para's ability. So, but still, it's still a good card to add here, but I think not really that relevant to just have card draws in mana fix in order to go with your creature board that you can expand. Now with another 3 copies or instant, you have Protect and Negotiators. You can just counter the spell unless its controller pays 1 for each creature you control, and you get a bonus wherein you can create a 1/1 white soldier creature token. So it depends on what your board will set up on this, but I would have at least playset of this, so adding 1 more to make sure that you can just draw this on your early turns. You can just play other creatures and then protect them from mass removals or any huge threats from your opponent by having a mana up for this, for only 2, to check out that your creatures are creating more in the board rather than just going out with allowing their big spells to resolve. Now for the mana fix, we have just Paradise Quarter, since this is the current Bant Thailand that we can use in this format, and which we also have a few mana fix of the slow lands of the overgrown farmland, since this is purely green-white, and then adding more fix for blue, such as Dreamrot Cascade and Deserted Beach, 2 copies of each. And also we have a new variant of the card, the Darkar Wastes from Dominaria United, and also 4 copies of Yamimaya Coast. But I would go with since we have already a lot of mana fix in this, this might become a liability later on because of the extra 1 damage that you may need whenever you tap it for its colored mana for this drawback. So it can become a drawback, but I think having only 3 of each of the Darkar Waste and Yamimaya Coast will be a good possible option, and then add more basic as a replacement for that one, since I think the mana fixing is already enough with all these slow lands, these sparse quarters, and the like. So for the quick setup of the colors, as you can see here, we have white, blue, and green, going with actually with almost 22 each, but the composition for the outer colors are basically green and white with the splash of blue, with the mana cost of at least 2.47 on this setup, with only 4 copies of or 6 on total of the 4 mana costs, the highest. And these are the card types, creature types, categories, subtypes, and only the deck tokens that we can use for this build. So overall, I think would consider this as your next deck if we have a few booster online that you bought for Magic Arena that were be able to convert into a Johnny Sleeper Agent or a few of your wild cards that you can use to craft this card. I think I would consider this build. Now, if you have already a good card pool just before the rotation, then I'm pretty sure having only a few wild cards to fix some of this will be enough to try out this build. I would overall would consider this not really a tier 1 deck, but given that the standard metagame is still developing in this setup, then any build will be possible as long as they're going to go with consistency and main strategy of being aggro but still effective in the mid game and long game in the setup. So that's about it for Bant Midrange deck with a Johnny Sleeper Agent. Until the next time, and thank you for watching.